Alright, and welcome to another update video on the Voxel engine. I just picked this project back in the pack. I just picked this project back up again a couple of days ago. So let's see what I've done. This video is going to be pretty short though. But most of it's related to threading. As you're about to see, it's generating the terrain right now, and as soon as it's done with that, it loads up because geometry rebuilding is now done in a thread. So if we go up here, we can see where the chunks are generating there. And I can make this even faster than it is now. I know there's a handful of optimizations I can do for that. In any case, let's go over. Now I'm not sure. Yeah, I need to set it so that I switched. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that I switched because I never made a video saying I used it in the first place. So the voxel queue is using a deck which pushes all the chunks that need to be updated to the front and then pops them off the back. So what I should do is whenever you manually break or place a voxel, it should push it to the back as opposed to the front. But by default, terrain generation adds them to the back. So I'll probably just make a flag in the function that determines whether you're pushing the chunk onto the front or the back of the queue. Done some general code cleanup things, and also I assume you've noticed that this is a placeholder texture. I redid the mesher. It's a lot faster now, and a lot more maintainable, and a lot less made out of spaghetti. I have not implemented model providers, so the code that actually generates the model for voxels is placeholder, and that is going to get changed out. I've got some interesting plans for that. But yeah, it runs fine on with this many chunks. I think this is 8,192. I may be able to I remember reading that you can draw multiple vertex arrays in one draw call, so I might see if there's a way I can implement that with what I've got set up here. Anyway, this is a 32 wide, 32 other wide, 8 chunk high terrain generation, and it's pretty fast. Let's see. We'll know if it's done generating if it allows us to place stuff. It does. I still haven't changed it to fix that bug where, yeah, it doesn't regenerate if you edit a voxel at the border of a chunk. I mean, it wouldn't take me that long to fix, but, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, this is more performance stuff. I haven't really done anything interesting other than that. But what this has allowed me to do is one of the next up features is going to be infinite terrain generation. So it'll follow the generation will get generated around the player. And how I'm going to do that is when I actually finish this game, it's going to be unlimited in all directions, or basically however much your computer can handle. So what it's going to do is your height, the average altitude varies by a lot. So what it's going to do is in the terrain generation stage, there is it's going to have a very wide area height map that changes very gradually, and then finer details are going to be added to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate chunks along that height map, as opposed to just naively generating from blank to blank in order to generate new terrain. Or that I'm talking about like at a distance. And also, once terrain's generated, it's going to have an actual height map built into the voxels, so whenever it reloads chunks, it'll be able to access that height map and load the ones that are on the surface very quickly is not the right word. Immediately, I guess, because it'll be able to know which ones are the ones on the surface without actually having to load a bunch of chunks in. If that makes any sense. Because basically, height maps are going to be for every column of infinitely high column of chunks. There's always got to be something that so far is the topmost generated voxel. Unless I somehow decide I want to implement like sky islands or something like that, that would be a confusing thing to do. I'd have to put some sort of break in the middle of it, so that way it doesn't cast weird shadows all over the place. Anyway, yeah, so that's how that's going to work. And I also have a new microphone, if you can't tell. So yeah, I got some stuff up next. Got a job where I will probably have a lot of time to work on this, because it is essentially glorified night security and helping people reset their dumb passwords. Alright, and I will see you in the next update video in like 3 years from now, probably.